Brilliant from Kennedy. Couldn't resist the shot, and it's gone in off the defender!
Determined, you lose your little player. And it's in, it's a goal from Gilmour. Jimmy Gilmour has scored for Falkirk.
Finnegan's cross, Stephen Thompson! Falkirk have the lead after a quarter of an hour!
McKenzie slips, it goes straight to McGuffey. McGuffey shoots from his own half, and that is incredible!
He's taking them all on here. Catch him if you can. You can't. That is amazing. That is phenomenal. A touch of individual inspiration from Kevin McAllister.
This is Falkirk Daft
with Haldane Construction Services.
Christmas time, mistletoe and wine. The Falkirk Bairns are doing just fine. There's an old classic for you, isn't it? It is Christmas time, ho ho ho. That time of year when you never seem to have a drink out of your hand, as was yesterday when I joined the one-man band in the main stand, King of the Prawn Sandwich. The Ginger God of Pod himself, In Hospitality, or Rospitality, has been renamed. How you're getting a lounge named after you next, Ross, I think.
Yeah, I saw that. Someone tweeted that last night as well. No, John, it was a good day. Obviously, we weren't actually at the same group, were we?
No, we weren't. You ducked out the pints. I was meant to be getting you in the wheat sheaf and you didn't turn up.
No, it was always going to be a quiet one for me. The boys were heading through to Edinburgh. I've had a right busy day today with it being a family day. So, no, it was always going to be a quiet one for me last night. Hospitality was good, I thought, as always, though.
The turkey was nice. Turkey was
dinner. Yeah, we turkey dinner, and the beers were flowing as well, weren't they? I thought it was really good getting Darren Barr. The club obviously had Darren Barr in.
Yeah.
I thought he spoke really well before the game, didn't he?
I thought he was really, really good. Actually, you can tell he's a Falkirk boy as well, so you can tell he's that affection he has for the club, and what he did with it. He said obviously winning the Scottish Cup with Hearts, but he said his biggest regret was that game against Rangers, and not lifting the cup as captain for Falkirk. We've got to remember Darren Barr was a sensational when he was a centre half. He was unbelievable. To the point he was getting international call-up for the last Falkirk player to do so.
He did. He was. I agree, John. I thought he was fantastic for us. And as you say, he got a Scotland cap or two from memory. And it's great to see him yesterday. He brought his son along as well. Sounds like it's not the first time he's been along with his son.
Yeah. Some seem to actually be a Falkirk supporter as well, which is great to see. I don't know if he still lives in the area or not.
I'm not sure, but
maybe we should launch Darren Barr Watch.
Darren Barr Watch, yeah. Do you know, if he doesn't, again, it's another testament as to how much the club mean to some players and the affinity that they've got. And it kind of makes you wonder, will we, can you imagine in 10 years' time if, players that are around the now are be coming to Falkirk games with their lads and stuff? You just don't know if that sort of loyalty is there in football anymore.
Yeah.
So interesting. But I thought it was great to hear from him, and then obviously the players come up after.
Yeah. Okay, try to find out they were on their Christmas night out in Dublin. So Alan, who's on the hospitality, if you've ever been there before, was trying to get some stories out of them, but no one was playing ball. It was what happened in Dublin stayed in Dublin. I was actually surprised. Nicky came up. It was Nicky and Ross that came up, and Brad Spencer came up as well. I cannot believe the height of Nicky. That's the first time I'd seen him really close up. Ross McKeever, I thought was bigger than he was as well. I thought he was a lot. I think I was maybe taller than Ross McKeever, but Nicky, what a size that boy is.
He's a big lad, a very big lad. And as you said, I always thought Ross McKeever was a tall boy too, taller than me, but that's not fair. Yeah, I'm sure you probably are taller than him. It was quite funny though, because obviously, as you've said, we were both there with retrospective groups of pals for our high school days.
Yeah.
And it was funny though, because one of the guys that's where we was in our group, Andy. He did nothing but critique McKeever all game, and then he obviously pops up with the winning header, and then he comes up to the lounge after and got his photo taken.
I saw him getting his photo taken. Yeah. I was like, "Yeah, big Wayne." All right, his arms around Nicky and Ross getting his photo taken. What a boy, big Andy is.
What happens in hospitality stays in hospitality.
I know. Know when you're on this podcast. Actually, talking about ex-Falkirk players, I had a bit of an encounter. Was at the Cash for Kids lunch on Friday, and Right, now I found out accidentally, the woman I work beside, Grace, who runs for Cash for Kids at Radio Clyde, she happened to drop to me that Alan Gow was her brother-in-law, and I suddenly went, "You're kidding me on. Alan Gow, big sexy Alan Gow's your brother-in-law." Badgered, and then she ended up saying, "Oh, he's coming to the Cash for Kids lunch and he's on your table." Quickly sorted the table arrangements out, so I was sat next to the Gowser. So right. I sat down, and the first thing I said, "I'm going to be your fucking worst nightmare here today, pal. So let's start off. Tell me about that goal against Dunfermline in the last minute that relegated them. Go on, let's talk about that. Come on." So I know he was an absolute gent. Straight on, selfie, straight up there. "Do a video for me, Alan." Aye, brilliant. And I actually said, "Oh, we're maybe thinking about doing a Falkirk Daft Live. How'd you fancy coming along as a wee guest?" And he said, "Aye." So potentially we could get Gowser down a bit. Had some brilliant stories, none that I can probably share on this podcast, but I'll definitely, if you see me in a pub, buy me a pint. I'll give you all the all that from the director of, when it all happened with the director of football stuff and all that sort of stuff. He had some really interesting stories to tell from that time, and obviously time as a player. He just said Gowser's been right around, the place. He was at Rangers, he was at Notts County, he was down south, he's been abroad and all this sort of stuff. He says you will not find a better player than Russell Lappy. He said, seriously, he said he was just everything, just unplayable. And he talks about it's probably the best game he's ever played in was that game against Celtic when we beat them.
Yeah, and the one at Parkhead.
Yeah, obviously he scored as well. But he said the Celtic players just, they didn't know what to do with Russell because he was unplayable that night. He said they just had no idea how to deal with him. So it was great catching up with him, making an arse of myself probably as well. My boss is a Falkirk supporter as well, and she was mortified, right? I said, "Come on, get a picture of Gowser." So I ended up going, she was like, no, I'm not going. So I went over, dragged him over to this table. I was like, fantastic. Come on, get a picture. So I absolutely pestered the life out of him. But no, lovely guy, absolutely lovely guy. And yeah, great to chat to him about all the good stuff at Falkirk.
So he has verbally contracted to Falkirk Daft Live at a venue to be confirmed.
Yes, he has. Venue TBC, Brian Flynn, look at your DMs. TBC, and we'll have that. We're hoping in the new year to have something arranged around the TNS game. So we'll watch this space, we'll just say that. Also in hospitality yesterday, we were talking about hospitality. Big Peter from Haldane Construction was there. He's never at that hospitality these days.
He's worse than you. He's
worse than me, aye. But I know, listen, and we got to thank Peter and Haldane Construction for the sponsorship of the podcast this season. If you've not, I'll wave on about Haldane Construction because they're brilliant. They are delivering construction and building projects throughout the Central Belt for over 2 decades. Domestic extensions, new builds, all the way through to commercial swimming pools, care homes. They've got skills, professional approach to undertake a vast range of projects. So if you're thinking about getting an extension, I've seen a few extensions happening around this area recently, and not one of them's got a Haldane Construction sign outside it. So more fool you. Get Peter and the boys booked up. Haldane Construction, check them out at haldaneconstruction.co.uk. They're on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, or you can drop Peter and the guys a line, info@haldaneconstruction.co.uk. They will sort you out, and like I've said in the past, they've got all sorts of awards for what they do. They're the best in the business. So get Peter and the guys sorted out, and they'll sort you your extension or any projects you've got in the building world. We're going to speak to Ben from the Only Accies podcast. Massive game against Hamilton. We're going to preview that later in the podcast. But very randomly, why have we went back about 10 years and we're now just doing paper tickets?
Yeah, there's something random going on at Hamilton Accies, isn't there?
Is it to try and curtail the amount of Falkirk sports? Why do you think? Do you think that's it? That they've went, oh well, if we do paper tickets, that means there'll be less supporters or buy them. I don't know.
It could be because I'm a bit of a planner. I've been keeping an eye on their website and socials for a week or two because we're running a minibus through next Saturday, and I've been keeping an eye on when.
Have you got spaces left in the minibus just in case any Falkirk Daft listeners? All gone.
All done. But if anything opens up, I'll put it on the socials. Absolutely. But yeah, no, I've been keeping an eye on the ticket situation, and they do use an app called Fanbase, which we've used as Bairns fans many times. Like, so Edinburgh City, Kelty use it. I'm sure there's maybe even one more. I can't quite remember, but I'm sure there's at least one more. So we're used to using it. But for whatever reason, they've decided to not use that and to not only give Falkirk paper tickets, which is a bit of a pain in the arse, they only give us them 1 week before the game. Like, I'm not being funny, but what the hell's going on there? The one thing someone said to me yesterday is it to do with the fact that, so you know how just now, if you've got like a code, you just zap in your way in, right? I know Falkirk talked about getting burnt with this with the Dunfermline game, the 2 Dunfermline games last year. But I wonder, are Accies trying to stop maybe adults or young adults / like students and stuff taking advantage of the concession ticket,
right,
by making them buy a paper one, which might be checked a bit more thoroughly? I don't know. Somebody said that to me last night, so I'm not really sure if that's the case or not. But it is just a bit weird, and it's very 1993 in it.
Yeah, aye. But listen, 600 tickets just about gone at the moment, or 500
one afternoon.
One afternoon. So yeah, I think we could maybe see 1,000 Bairns in there, maybe more than that, Ross.
I hope for maybe 1,500, which maybe sounds a lot, but then we've had 1,500 or 1,600 through Stirling. Granted, this is a little bit further than Stirling, but it's a huge game.
Yeah.
It's
that time of the year. The problem is it's that time of the year. You probably saw that reflected in the attendance as well yesterday. Yeah, just because so people. I mean, I'm not even making the game next week because it's Christmas time and I'm DJing at the Stirling Highland Hotel. So if you're getting your Christmas party next Friday and Saturday, I'll see you there, guys. So it's just that it's mad time here. Someone to miss the game, which I'm gutted about. Talking tendencies, talking that side of things, the Ultras are now the attendance sponsor. Is there anything that we will not get sponsored? Graham Carbis, Graham Stewart, looking at you two. Everything's sponsored now. And these boys won it at our Fortress Brockville night, Ross.
Yes, it was that was one of the silent auction prizes, wasn't it? It was there to be attendance sponsor for the rest of the year.
Am I telling tales out of school that I've heard a rumour that it was money that was put to one of the boys has went rogue and got this sponsored, and there was money put aside to get away for like a tifo display, and he's went, we'll just buy the attendance sponsor. Am I telling tales out of school there? I've heard that story.
I heard that rumour as well. I don't know if it's true or not.
Maybe one of the Ultras can confirm that and we can out to the person. But listen, that's brilliant, boys. Another 500 quid into the club. So
do you know what though, right? See, look at it two ways. So one, they're obviously raising loads of money just now through selling like t-shirts and scarves and hoodies and stuff.
Where's your silk scarf, Ross, after Montrose? You know, we've not seen you since you were part of the Ultras in Montrose. Did you have your silk
that night? That was a brilliant night up at Montrose with the boys.
Did you get a shot of the drum?
I didn't get a shot of the drum yet, no. But listen, I tell you one thing, it kept me warm because that was the coldest football game. So bouncing around with those boys for an hour and a half was a good laugh.
Jesus Christ. You're too old. In the words of Danny Glover, you're too old for that shit, mate.
No, I am sometimes. But no, listen, but not after 7 or 8 tenants. I'm all right after. But no, listen, whether they're buying stuff for tifos or whether they're putting money into the club, it's win-win in it. So it's the guys are doing brilliant. Their section looked a wee bit quiet. I don't mean in terms of noise because I thought they did well again yesterday. In terms of number, though, I think you're right. The KM stand maybe looked maybe a third emptier than it would normally be. Obviously, I couldn't tell for the main stand because we're sitting in it. But just under 4,000. It's a good crowd again. But you're probably 400 or 500 down on what we've been getting at home. And you're right, it probably is Christmas. Guys and women getting dragged around shops or
works nights, so all that sort of stuff. Congratulations to Finn Yeats, Player of the Month from the club, second month in the spin.
Well deserved for me. I've been quite consistent. He's my Player of the Year so far. He is. I know yours is probably Mr. Lang, but.
Obviously. But, we'll talk about Brad Spencer in a minute, but
But no, Finn, absolutely fantastic. He's doing well in December as well. So will he make it a hat trick? Who knows?
We will wait and see. There was a correspondence from the club this week as well. It was an email that was sent around, and all it was, it just seemed to be lots of words. There was nothing really in it. It just seemed to be lots of words. Can we have some more money? That's what it seemed to be to me. I was just like, I don't know if this is, it's like put it in an email. When you have that expression around a meeting, just put it in an email. I don't know if you needed that email, but there you go. There wasn't much said. Still going to bring it up though. I'm still going to bring up the fact that the FSS is not up above that 25% threshold yet.
Just below, I believe.
But there was shares meant to be donated, and I've still not seen.
Well, I think going back, John, I think they have been proxied that 0.3 to get them. So they are technically 25% plus one share. However, you're right. In terms of having them in their own names, I see that one of the last updates from FSS was encouraging any small shareholder to potentially donate to the FSS.
So it's currently at 24.8%. though. In saying that, previous correspondence said it was at 25%. Now we're saying it's 24.8%.
No, they're definitely at 25% plus one share. The difference is though the 24.8 is what FSS actually have in their name,
right?
And the difference is what someone's proxied, I believe. That was my last reading of the email, I think, unless I've got that wrong. But either way, John, there's nothing going to happen to us at this juncture.
I'm just going to keep. I'll keep reminding them of this though. I'm going to keep reminding it, because there was chat about shares being donated, not proxied, and that's not 24.8%. That's not happened yet. So I will keep on this, and I will be on this until it actually happens.
I've got an idea and I get you. Because you are concerned, because you're an
FSS. I am concerned.
You are concerned. You're an FSS member as well, though. So why don't we use this platform, right, as well as the club's platform, because they use theirs as well? Why don't we use this to, if any Falkirk shareholder, small shareholder, doesn't know what the hell we're talking about, the FSS are looking for shareholders, small or big, to donate an X amount of shares to be donated to the FSS, so that they can get to the 25% plus one share. If anybody can do that, get in touch with the FSS. Definitely. And Bob's your uncle, Robert's your father's brother, as they say.
Brilliant. There you go. Shall we talk about the game now?
Yes.
Let's do that, will we? So it was Falkirk 2, Kelty Hearts 1, Nesbitt and McKeever with the goals. In that first half, Ross, in fact, before we get into the game, do you know what we need to do? We need to invite our guest Pundit on. I'm a bit rusty. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done that. So please welcome to Falkirk Daft, our guest Pundit for this week is Mr. Josh Heggie.
All right, guys, how's it going?
Good, mate. Good. You've been on before, Josh. You're an old pro at this. Look, he's even got a headset this time. You didn't have the headset the last time, did you, Josh?
No, but
he's up. He's up.
Got the new one with the work. So
that's a go. Aye. Podcaster pro straight away. Listen, we've asked you your favourite Falkirk player. We've asked you your favourite Falkirk memory. What's your favourite Falkirk goal?
Blair Olsen against Hamilton.
Oh,
one of my first away days as well.
Oh, what a strike that was!
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, that was delicious. Absolutely delicious.
I just remember that because the away end was absolutely jam packed that day, and the scenes when that ball went in was just
it was
brilliant. Yeah, another one of those on Saturday.
Yes, absolutely. That would do it. Yeah, Brad Spencer or Morrison smashing one in Saturday would be ideal. We are here, however, to talk about the game on Saturday, just gone there. Falkirk 2, as I said. Kelty Hearts 1. Well, where do we start with this? We'll get to the referee, I think. I think we might mention the referee. And, the fine display that man had on Saturday, it was a wonderful bit of display, and, the Right Reverend Douglas Ross running the line as well. even the referee managed to out-cunt Douglas Ross. By the way, that is an impressive feat to do that. Out-cunt Douglas Ross on the pitch. Sorry, apologies for the language. I know people get upset with that, but honestly, this is the start of it before we talked about this refereeing performance. But let's talk about the football in the first half. Let's talk about that. I thought it was a very, very impressive display, Ross.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely, we were dominant first half. We created a few chances, as we know. We had a very, very, very strong penalty shout, which I know we'll talk about, and a goal chopped off. So we literally did I know we scored very late on in the half, but how we did not go in at half time 3-4 goals up, I'll never know.
No, we seem to be opening them up at a plum, Josh.
Yeah, I thought especially the first 10 minutes we came out really strong. I know we had a corner in the first kind of 2-3 minutes, and it came back to Calvin, and he just couldn't wrap his foot around it. And then obviously we had the counter with Leon McCann coming in, and I think it just took a bobble before he could pull the trigger and didn't get the clean strike. So there's 2 good chances from the first 10 minutes. Then we kind of let them come back into it for 5, and then it was just plain sailing the rest of the half, chance after chance.
Yeah. Did the team pick itself, Ross? Was there anyone that you think should have maybe come on? Ethan Ross, obviously. We'll talk about Nesbitt's goal in a wee bit, but I thought Ethan Ross had a better shout at starting than Nesbitt. But
yeah, I agree with you.
I think the rest of the team was a stick on, but I think that was the only one that I would I would maybe have played Ethan Ross instead of Nesbitt.
Yeah, pre-match when the team sheet came round, I thought Ethan Ross would have been in the starting 11 in place of Nesbitt. There was even maybe a slight shout for Agyeman to have started coming up against his old team. They know what he can do as well. And you know, I don't think Nesbitt started the game that well. Like I thought the first 20, 25 minutes, he was actually really quiet.
Yeah.
He obviously then scored and he was brilliant in the second half. So it obviously done him the world of good. But yeah, I genuinely thought Ethan Ross would have started the game ahead of Nesbitt. Yeah,
Josh, was that the team you would have had out?
It's the team I suspected McGlynn would put out. Obviously, trust Nesbitt, all the running that he does.
Oh, he loves it. Nesbitt is his love child. Like, I'm pretty sure Aidan Nesbitt is John McGlynn's love child. He absolutely any chance to get Aidan Nesbitt in the side. Listen, and I'm not slagging Nesbitt here because, like Ross said, he came on a really, really good game, and he's been more or less, you know, I mean, you see the workload that Aidan Nesbitt puts on. I'd love to see his kind of stats, because I think the amount of running that boy does is unbelievable.
Yeah, I also feel that Ethan Ross, I think, plays slightly better when he's out wide, but to drop Cal or Calvin at the moment is would be really harsh on them, because they've been our standout players the last kind of month or so.
Yeah,
and obviously Alfie to come on is just an enigma. So
yeah. He is. No, and he is a great sub to come on, Josh Agyeman. He really is. And we'll get into that when the subs came on. But you know, just it's an interesting comment you made there about Morrison. Morrison didn't have a great game yesterday.
I don't
and it's an interesting one. See if you weren't playing Accies next week, because I think he will start. But say we weren't playing Accies next week, I could maybe see Morrison getting popped to the bench to give.
I thought he started off fairly brightly, Morrison, but then he just kind of fell out the game a wee bit. You know, there was a couple of pot shots at goal, which didn't really come to anything. But I thought he started well. But yeah, I mean, Ross, you talked about the chances after chances and how we shouldn't, you know, how it went. I mean, there's just so many, you know. There was, you know, like Josh said, McCann, when they broke forward that time, you know, probably should have done better there, and probably should have been a goal. There was a couple of big shouts to the main stand for handball, south stand from handballs at one point as well, which I didn't really pick up on. I didn't see myself. And then we had the offside goal. Brad Spencer, I mean, when you see it back on the telly, it looks pretty offside to me, but he was, like, he had a big hand saying that's never offside as well, when Spencer crossed and Miller had the diving header. But, you know, we had the Kendo at the back post who should have done better. There was a lot of chances, but, you know, I thought Brad Spencer, by the way, seen that first half, I think he fell away a bit in the second half, you know. But what a bore that boy is. See his variety in his passing, and just like the the way he was finding people was just unbelievable. Unbelievable player.
John, see that offside goal, obviously, as you've said, Josh, I think you said it on Falkirk TV. I think he probably was just offside, but the ball in was absolutely beautiful in terms of like well placed, well cleaned, and just a really nice diving header.
Yeah, it's a really good ball in, and he he takes the ball with him, so he drives forward and then puts the ball in. I think the defence did well in stepping up, to be fair, and Calvin just goes a wee bit early, but it's a really good run in, and the finish was great. Just a shame that it was offside, but a good chance.
Right, well, before we talk about the goal, we talk about Ross McKeever penalty shout and how he was booked for diving for that. What? I mean, really, like, how is that not a penalty?
I don't know. I mean, Hendo does so well to press him back, and why would they go down though? That's my question.
Exactly.
Well, that's what he said. That's what he said afterwards. Why would he go down? Why would he go down? All he had to do
close to goal. Yeah.
And it was in, and then he's brought down and booked for diving. I mean, the referee's decisions were baffling. Yellow cards getting, honestly, he was just yellow card for this, yellow card for that. Like, Hendo got booked for nothing. Ethan Ross, when he came on, got booked for nothing. I mean, it was a 9
That was a great tackle, by the way. That was a great tackle from Ethan Ross, because it was right in front of us.
Yep. 9 yellow cards, was it? And there wasn't a bad tackle in that game.
The only one I agreed with was the one on Tom Lang, because he was a wee bit late.
Yeah, Tom Lang aside, you're right, Josh. I mean, that was a very tactical foul at the big time. I mean, I was slightly worried because I thought that's a bit of pressure, because that was fairly early on in the game.
10 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah. And you think, God, one of your centre halves being booked, and same with Big Hendel getting booked as well, because we know what his game's all about, But honestly, the decisions were baffling. Absolutely baffling. That boy Ian Sneddon, now the week before he'd sent off, that he got his first game in the Scottish Premiership the week before, right? And now he's back in League One. You can have him back in the Premiership because he is murder. That is one of the worst refereeing performances I've ever seen.
Do you know, we're used to seeing consistent refs in League One, right? Consistently shite, obviously.
Yeah.
However, this lad on Saturday, what confused me was it just felt like it was biased. And I hate to sound like that guy, because we're not Old Firm fans. We don't have this like mad vendetta that the refs are out to get us and all this kind of stuff. But yesterday, they were literally, Kelty players were literally getting away with the exact same fouls as we were, and all they got was a talking to, if that.
Yeah. There was a brilliant example of it in the second half as well. I think that Ethan, it was the
Someone
same.
came on Liam McCann, and it was just the guy runs kind of 60 mile an hour at him and just lunges into him.
Yeah.
But there's no intent for the ball, and it's like Hendo got booked for less.
Yeah.
Craig Johnson's thrown elbows everywhere. He caught the one he got booked for, but then he threw one at McKeever and Spencer as well. So,
And it was.
The mad one at the end, near the end, was when there was a shoulder charge. We didn't get the free kick for it, and their player didn't get booked or anything. And then 2 seconds later, Finn Yates is booked for a shoulder charge on their player, and they get a free kick at the edge of the box.
It was mental. Absolutely mental. But luckily, we got just the rod. Let's talk about the goal, though. I thought that was a fantastic bit of football, a great move. Ross McKeever involved, that little flick on, and falls right into Nesbitt, and just obviously a really good finish, but he couldn't really miss from where he was. But I thought it was a delicious bit of football in the build up to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's McGlynn in his interview said credit Finn Yates, like he kept the ball in play, gives it to Morrison, and I know you said he had a poor game, but it was a really good cross that in the first half he played well, and weaker foot, ball in the box, and it was just an amazing.
I actually think that was his best involvement in the game, Josh, because you're right, Finn keeping the ball in, like he jumped what felt like double his height to keep the ball in. Weaker foot from Morrison, really nice crossing, as you've said, and do we think McKeever was just flicking it down, or do we think it was like
you can see it.
Attempt at like a overhead kick?
You can see where he looks at Nesbitt, and you can see it.
He's meant it then. Good lad.
Yeah, I know. I thought he meant it. It was a great goal. Really, really smashed goal. So we're in 1-0 up. You're thinking, aye, but Kelty got the. I mean, Kelty are in decent form. Let's not forget that they come into the game, fourth in the league, looking to push on, and you could just feel that goal coming. I don't know what it is. We had a couple of chances earlier on. We had Miller diving header, but it just seemed to be they kept getting down that left hand side, and that's where the goal obviously came from. And you just felt it was maybe coming. Or was that just me?
No, I thought it was coming as well, but and they didn't have much of the ball, but then a bit of slack defending really nearly let them in a couple of times. They had a flash across. They had one that I actually thought was like from our angle. It looked in. I think it might have hit the post at the back of the goals. I thought it must have hit that. And then they had another half chance. And then, as you say, the inevitable cross comes in. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Donaldson or Henderson. Somebody didn't really kind of just put their boot through it, and the boy scores for as close as you can get. So it just kind of felt as if it was coming at that point.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it was from the halfway. It came from a stupid error up near the halfway line. Just thought, it was. I mean, the good thing is though, when you do get, a team comes back and then you're suddenly onto your phone looking at what Hamilton's doing, and luckily they were drawing as well. But then you're like, right, come on. And this team, the good team, and we've talked about the resilience of the team. They are really resilient, and they just kept going. And I felt that we'd have got something back. I was worried for parts, especially this referee, and I thought we're due a man. We're probably going to get a man sent off here because the amount of yellow cards he's dishing out. But it was Nesbitt involved again, and he really stepped into that game. Involved putting the ball to Yeats, and what a brilliant header from Ross. Absolutely, great cross from Finn, and what a outstanding header from Ross.
Really tight angle as well. Like, I know, Josh, I don't think there's a camera behind the goals anymore, but that would have been an interesting one to see from behind the goals, because it probably was a real tight angle that he got the header in, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. You can see the way kind of glance. It's almost like a glancing header, but he gets the power on it as well. So right in the top corner, you can see the goalkeeper just has no chance. He's kind of rushing across for it, and it just almost like falls in the net, trying to keep it out. But
yeah,
the whole build up, even the crossfield ball for Calvin Miller.
Yeah,
I thought that was just to open up the play, and then Nizzy kind of just stops and delays the pass for Finn to overlap. So I thought
I don't know if you've heard, see when Calvin Miller went off, it was obviously just after the goal, and there was a wee bit of discontent in the crowd when Miller got off, and I agree. I was shocked that he got subbed, to be honest, because I thought Miller had a really good game yesterday. Yeah, he was in amongst almost everything good that we were doing going forward. Don't get me wrong, and I thought Ethan Ross was a great sub to come on as well, and obviously argument and stuff, but and I know somebody's got to go off, but for me, Miller, I thought he was fantastic.
I thought he had a great game. I just think he might have been tiring a wee bit in his legs. He had the chance where McKeever won the ball back and kind of sent him through, and then this is another one. The referee gave a free kick for their boy. It was a great tackle from the defender, but apparently Miller fouled him. So, but
yeah, he looked at him. He looked at him the wrong way, so the referee were kicking a yellow card.
If it's the start of the game, Miller can get past him and get a shot away. Maybe it might have been because of being so involved. Maybe just a wee bit. Legs.
After the second goal on, they opened up so much, and we should have capitalised upon that. Poor Jordan Allen. God Almighty, you got to feel so sorry for Jordan Allen. Ethan Ross driving towards goal, puts him in. He's just got to fucking put, tatty bash it or put something on it, and he's went for a really sweet strike, boom, off the bar. And it's like, if you feel sorry for Jordan Allen, because it just feels like it's not happening for him, Then there was that other chance later on where Ethan Ross is cleaner on and goal, and all he needed to do was just knock it to the side, and Jordan Allen had a tap in, and then he obviously went on it himself because he was clean through on goal with no challenge. But I feel sorry for Jordan, I really do.
He's due. He is genuinely. It feels like he's due a goal or two, because remember he hit the post against for Martin, I think it was. Yeah, I'm sure he had a really good chance against Dundee United that night, and then obviously he's hit the bar there. We're just desperate for him to do well and get a goal or two. I think he will get one, and I know we're going to talk about the Accies game, but actually, Accies game on Saturday could come down to like a wee poacher's finish, and who knows, maybe he'll be on the pitch and he'll get the winning goal.
I certainly hope so. But I think we were worth our win. I mean, when you look at the stats, when you look at the chances we created, I mean, Kelty, they had a few breakaway chances. They've had a few that were of our own, obviously, Falkirk's making as well, just silly mistakes getting made. But 2-1, I think was probably, even flattered them slightly. I would say, we're due probably more goals than what we got, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about the chances, and I think Leon probably should have scored. Jordan Allen probably should have scored, and then take one off your Hendo at the back post, or I think Calvin Miller had a header as well. So one of them, and there's your 4-1 up the road, easy days. But to be fair, credit, I think it was 1-1 or 1-0, but Nicky Hogarth made a great save.
Yes, that was a massive save at the time. Yeah,
that could have changed the game as well. And I think not just did he get the stop, but then he kind of got up and gathered his own rebound. So
yeah, no,
Josh, John, a shout out to Nicky as well, because as we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, he was one of the players that was up in the lounge after the game, and he kind of held his own hands up as well and said that was some of his own distribution was a little bit all over the place yesterday, wasn't it? Like there was a point where he kicked the ball out straight to their guy, but he threw the ball out, it went straight to their guy. It's like, come on, son.
It was just a 5-minute spell.
Yeah.
Two kickouts went slightly too wide, and then Nesbitt goes crying out for the ball, but he sees him too late. By the time he gets round to throwing it to him, Kelty's got two men beside Nesbitt and take it off him. So it was just a 5-minute spell, but other than that, I thought he had a really
He was great otherwise, isn't he? Really strong keeper yesterday.
Absolutely, big lad as well. Listen, let's hear what Mr. McGlynn had to say about the match as he spoke to. Was it you, John? Was it you guys? It was you. Oh, well, let's find out what he had to say when he spoke to Josh.
Evening, John. After a comfortable first half and kind of making it more a scrappy game in the second half, how important is it to get a victory in a game like today?
It's a magnificent win, a brilliant win. As I said in my pre-match interview, that Kelty have been going really, really well, and a great result last week, the last time they played against Hamilton. And so to dominate the first half as much as we did, it was a little bit disappointing only to come in 1-0 up. And we had to work really hard to get that goal, but with our other opportunities, I mean, in one of their free kicks, we broke out incredibly well. And Leon's in the start of it and is in the end of it, a great opportunity in the middle of the goal. He's forced the goalkeeper into save, which is what you've got to do. But it was a great opportunity. We've had a header. Calvin was a bit unlucky offside. I've not had a look at the penalty claim we had when Ross McIver was brought down. I don't know if it was a penalty or not, but I thought we dominated the first half. I was really, really pleased with the performance. Just a little bit, disappointed that we hadn't scored more goals. And of course, when you don't do that, there's every opportunity that it might come back to bite you. Kelty changed things at the start of the second half, forced us back a little bit. We were a bit deeper than we want to be. They got a little bit more time in the ball, higher up. And kind of played themselves into the game. Nicky's saved one with his feet. But during that period, we were still very, very dangerous, and probably, again, should have put the game to bed with the chances that we were creating and the amount of times that we got to the byline and high up the pitch and got crosses in. So, it goes one each, and delighted the character the players have shown. Again, it speaks volumes for them coming back once again. Really, really good goal, fantastic goal, great header, great ball in. Finn Yates ran the length of half the pitch to put the ball in, and Ross gets across in front of I think Jason Thompson, and gets a great header in. So absolutely delighted. After that, again, we could have added to it. Jordan Allen's very, very unlucky, hits the bar and comes down, and we had other 1v1 situations that we probably could have went on to win the game. But when it's just 2-1, we give a wee free kick at the very end, the last kick of the ball more or less, it comes in, and in these situations anything can happen. But we stood solid, we stood firm, and denied them not too many chances. I think the stats are saying they had 2 shots on target, and they managed to score a goal. And we've had 21 shots. We had loads of corners, and we never had a corner. It shows you there's a dominance in the game, and we're very, very dominant in the game.
Sorry, Josh, cutting you down on your prime there as you're about to get into more questions. You only ever have to ask John McGowan one question anyway, and he does the rest. Is that not the case?
Yeah, you kind of go for one question, which is, what were your thoughts on the game? And
then 5 minutes later, that's you up the road. There you go. Right, you can obviously, Josh, you work for Falkirk TV. We hear your lovely dulcet tones on there every week. Is it McIver or is it McKeever? Because John said McIver there. I've been saying McKeever. We were told it was McKeever. What are we saying? Are we all just going to agree if it's McIver or McKeever here?
So Sean Ederbrand, commentator, he said, he asked him start of season, and Ross said it's McKeever. People call me McIver. I don't care.
Right.
But we just go with McKeever because that's what he said it is.
Right. Okay. Well, someone's going to have a word with John McGlynn then, because he's throwing that he's confusing the matter here, right? So John, it's McKeever, right? We're all agreed it's McKeever. We're all settled on McKeever, all right?
No, wait a minute, John. Would you say this to him?
No, but Josh is going to say it to him. So next time you're doing the post match with John, Josh, I just want you to say, listen, just before we start this, John, I'd just like to tell you it's McKeever, not McIver, right? You go for that.
No, and I'll be sacked next week.
Go before he gives you a black eye.
No, that's true. That's true. Listen, you enjoyed doing the Falkirk TV though, Josh?
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously new team this year, but it's been. Well, I think that's maybe about 20 games, including pre-season, that we've done, and it's me and Sean. We've got a good partnership going now, and it's exciting to try and get some improvements going and see where we can take it.
Good. I'm glad you think the two years are sounding great on it. So well done to you boys. Big shoes to fill, and obviously Luby and Stuart, But Stuart, I think Stuart was on the tannoy yesterday. Actually, I think he started doing stuff on the tannoy now. I'm sure it was Stuart who was on yesterday. Anyway,
was he? Was Stuart was Stuart on the?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Stuart. Wasn't Stuart yesterday, but he did the opening game of the season.
Well, who was on the tannoy yesterday? Because that was a new voice. Then I thought it was maybe Stuart.
I wasn't sure who was in the
tannoy. There you go, tannoy guy. Shout out to the tannoy guy. Did a decent job yesterday, mate. There you go. Shout out to you. I'm sure you'll love that. Right, okay. Let's see what the rest of the supporters are saying to the match. Shot caller Jack kicks us off with, the ref was atrocious, took the attention away from Douglas Ross in the line. We showed character to get back into it. A lesser side would have crumbled. I feel that we might have gone a bit overboard with the subs, leaving us exposed, but a huge game next week nonetheless. Come on, you Bairns.
Indeed. Graham says, totally dominated the game, and yet we're hanging on a bit at the end. We need more clinical finishing, and a referee that wasn't a total head case would have been helpful. Good win against a very physical team.
SP offshore, we won despite the ref, and Hamilton dropped points, so good day if you ask me.
Indeed. John says 2 seasons ago we finished with 44 points, 15 games played this season, and we're already on 37. Even when they equalised today, the players and fans didn't panic, even if we weren't playing our best in the second half. Shout out to Ethan Ross when he came on, importance of a strong bench.
He was very good. He was very direct, and when he came on, he did a bit of fucking skill down in front of me, and I was like, oh boy, another baller right there.
John, see, just before you do, that's a fantastic stat though, isn't it? 37 points after 15, and 2 seasons ago, which I think was, I hate to use his name, but the Gary Holt season, 44 points we finished.
No. But it just goes to show you, it's like, you know what I mean? When did we finish that season? Was it 6 that season?
If it's that season he's talking about, then yeah, probably would have been.
So it's like, but it just goes to show you, man, it's like 37 points, and we should be walking away with the league. We've not been beaten, and yet we're still only second in the league, which is crazy. Absolutely madness, this league. And obviously a very important game next week. Roger says, poorest ref I've seen in a long time, and that is saying something. Any tackle by a Falkirk player was automatically a foul to Kelty and a booking. Unreal.
Yeah, it was as well. Craig says, we dominated the entire game, but we should be scoring more goals. McKeever should be scoring more.
Not McIver.
Thank you. Morrison wasn't at his best today either. He left Yeats exposed for the goal. Spencer and Nesbitt both very good. However, the ref was clearly out-Torying Douglas Ross with his performance.
I maybe should have used that word rather than the word that I did use for the ref.
No, they're both really good. And if we're looking for a title for this episode, I don't know if we'll get away on YouTube and Spotify without cunting, but we might get away with out-Torying.
Out-Torying with Douglas Ross. Yeah, that's true. Paul says referee was poor and Falkirk were poor. 3 points and up the road, though. That's all that matters.
Indeed. Our friend of the show, Elsa, that referee performance was a new low even at this level. Woeful. We should have been out of sight at half-time and again, not clinical enough. Even though McIver scored, I thought he had an off day. Second half, puffed and puffed a bit. Still unbeaten though, moan the Bairns.
It's McKeever!
I know, I'm joking.
God's sake. And finally, Jamie leaves us with, I started the match only hating one of the officials, but I was two by the end of it. There you go. So that is the views of the supporters. Right, let's get your two views now. Who is our Falkirk Daft rated player of the week? Ross Wayne.
I think it has to be Nesbitt for yesterday. He didn't start the game well, but he was scored the first goal, and I thought he was all over the pitch in the second half. So well done, that man.
Josh Heggie.
I was gonna give it to Hendo until he almost lost his head and had to get subbed.
Yes.
Calvin Miller for me. I thought
the
amount of chances in the first half that he created, second half as well. Probably could have had one that got chopped off, and then this other diving header I think he was unlucky with. So he was my Falkirk Daft rated player.
And I'm going to go for someone totally different as well. I'm going to say Brad Spencer just in that first half display. I thought he was outstanding. But it just goes to show you, that's Ross McKeever could have been in my shout. I think Finn Yates could have been in my shout as well. Leon, Mr. Consistent, just keeps going and going and going. But yeah, there was a lot of good players on that park yesterday. But yeah, well, split decision. Who gets it? Well, we give it to Miller, Spencer, or...
I think Nesbitt deserves it, this one. He's had a few knocks, hasn't he?
Right, come on then. We'll give it to Nesbitt. There you go. He got his goal yesterday and he was running about ragged. So well done, Aidan Nesbitt, your Falkirk Daft rated player of the week. I'm sure you're delighted with that, mate. Right, who's the Falkirk... Oh, there's no point even asking this question. Who's the Falkirk Dafty?
Well, it's got to be the ref, isn't
it? Exactly.
Yeah.
You could almost give it to Douglas Ross because he dropped his flag at one point.
He did drop his flag at one point. I did see John McGuinn. Did John McGuinn go and get it for him? I think he did.
He maybe slipped him a tenner as well at the same time.
But no, it's yes, the referee, Ian Snedden, come on down. Unbelievable. A terrible refereeing performance. Absolutely woeful, mate. Unbelievable. But there you go. That is our Falkirk Dafty of the week, definitely. Right, so on to the Hamilton now. We're going to catch up with Ben from the Only Accies podcast in a minute. But thank you so much for coming on, Josh. Really appreciate your time as ever. Doing a smashing job on Falkirk TV. And thanks for coming on Falkirk Daft this week, mate.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate it.
Brilliant. If you want to be a guest pundit, just like Josh has done today, you can drop us an email, pundit@falkirkdaft.co.uk. Get us on Twitter, Facebook, or, just give you the email, so do that.
This is Falkirk Daft
with Haldane Construction Services.
As ever on Falkirk Daft, we like to look ahead to the next match, and that match is Hamilton away. We spoke to him earlier in the season from the Only Accies podcast. It's Ben. How you doing, my man?
Not bad, man. Thank you for having me on again. I think last time you referred to us as Accies only. So thank you for getting me back on Daft Falkirk, mate. Really appreciate it.
The best way for us to remember Only Accies is Only Fans, Only Accies. It's the best way to remember.
I don't. What's this OnlyFans you talk over, Ross? I have no idea what that is.
Talking about last night at the pub.
Oh, right. Yeah. Ben, obviously we are recording this the Sunday after Accies dropped points. Were you at the game yesterday?
I was, mate. I was indeed.
I read your update on your Twitter saying, there was penalty claims, there was underside of the bar being hit, strange subs. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the two of us are probably sitting here at the moment saying, what went wrong yesterday? A draw is not a bad result away at Hull, but the way the league's going this season, it's like, it is, when you drop points like we did at Montrose a couple of weeks ago, it's like, shit.
Yeah.
So what happened yesterday?
Yesterday was a weird one. We just never get going. We just never get started, really. And I think we really struggled to break. And listen, credit, I'm not trying to take credit away from Ala because they probably could have scored at least one or two in the first half themselves. But just struggled to break them down. And I said there was penalty claims. There was one absolute stonewaller in Alloa I'm going to put the clip out on Twitter tonight. Alloa put the highlights up last night, and I'm watching it again, just going, I just don't see how it's no given, man. It's so clear. But we hit the bar twice. They hit the bar once. I think there was 2 penalty claims in the game, including ours. It was a game that, if you looked at the stats, you looked at the highlights, you'd have wondered how it ended 0-0.
Right.
But we just never kind of really got going. But in terms of the strange subs, it was we've had Ewan Henderson on the bench the last few games, and I think I don't know if it's still the case, but at least 2 weeks ago he had the most goal contributions in the league, with goals and assists, and he's been kind of coming off sub appearances. And then yesterday, when it was 0-0 going into the last 10 minutes, we just hit the bar. We needed a goal. We still had the sub to use, and he didn't come on. He wasn't the sub, and it kind of left a lot of fans scratching their heads, going, "We need a goal. Your top goal scorer, the guys with the most goal contributions, isn't the one coming off the bench." It was like I said, it left us kind of scratching our heads a wee bit.
Ben, I was going to ask you about that, because I heard you say that. I watched your full-time update when you were walking along, I think, on Alloa Backstreet.
Mate, that was me going to Fat Hippo. That was me.
Oh, really?
That was me going to Fat Hippo, man, before I got absolutely cursed.
And I heard you say that about Henderson. Do you think there's maybe been a falling out there between him and Rankin?
Mate, I've got no idea. The thing is, like, previously, we would hear things like that, like, for inside the club. We would get kind of murmurings, but since kind of the new owners and all that seems to have kind of been totally cut out. So I've honestly got no idea. I think he was initially he hadn't scored in a few games, so he was initially dropped, and then that was the 5-0 game at home, or one of the 5-0. We had back-to-back. I can't remember if it was the first or the second, but it was then a case of, it's a wee bit unfair to then bring him back into the team after obviously winning 5-0. So again, understood him being on the bench again. Obviously following the 5-0 at home last week, again, I was that unchanged lineup 100%. I agree with that. But as I said, it was just getting to the last kind of 20 minutes, and we needed a goal, and it was as if kind of one moment of magic was gonna decide the game for either side. And he just wasn't the sub, and that confused me. And they also took off Lewis Smith, who was probably our best player yesterday. He was the one that was creating all the chances. So it was just strange subs kind of all round. We made a half-time change, taking one of our centre-backs off, putting our left-back to centre-back, and then bringing on our second-choice left-back. So it was just strange, kind of from start to finish, the choice, the subs he was making. And as I said, I think, obviously, you can never know for sure, but I would like to think that if Ewan Henderson came off the bench, we might have got a goal in the last 20 minutes. But
I mean, it's that the worrying thing, I think, from a Falkirk perspective, is that, at the start of the season, you were very tight at the back, not leaking goals. But, you were getting over the line 1-0, 2-0, that kind of idea. But it seems to be that you've hit this kind of rich vein of scoring now with, like you say, a couple of 5-0s back to back. Ben, what's kind of been the change that's made that happen?
I think one of the big changes is we've started playing 2 wingers, which we hadn't done previously. So I think when we played you guys at home, we had Henderson, O'Hara. Was it Henderson, O'Hara, and I think it might have been Smith who started that game. But Henderson and O'Hara realistically are players that play through the middle more than anything else. But what we've been doing recently is having O'Hara through the middle, and then having 2 actual wingers out wide. And what that's doing is that's creating so much space for us. But disregarding playing against Falkirk or Cove or something like that, we're going to get the majority of the ball in these games against the opposition. And so the wider we can get it, the more space we can make, I think the better we fare. So that's been probably the biggest thing for me, is playing with actual wingers that are creating width and able to get balls in and create space for the midfielders to run into. That's probably been the biggest one for me.
Yeah, that slightly from a Falkirk perspective, I was delighted to see the 0-0 yesterday, because I'm sure, like us, you are looking straight onto the phone and keeping an eye on what we're up to. I mean, you're still top of the league, obviously, due to those goals that you guys have been scoring. We've obviously got the game in hand, which is against Cove, as you say. Actually, on Cove, are we as Falkirk supporters, Hamilton supporters, are we worried about Cove and what they could do with the form? I mean, they are the form team in the league now,
I think we'd be very naive not to be worried. I think, obviously, a few weeks ago, the two of us, I think we're quite comfortably saying it's a 2-horse race. This is us, we've got too much of a gap now. But I think, to be fair, you guys are getting in situations where you're having to rely on late goals and all that to get points. We're obviously in the same situation, but Cove, as you said, just seem to be on this run, man, that just doesn't seem to stop. And I think the biggest challenge for, obviously, they played us, they beat us. So that was the first one. The second one is obviously playing you guys.
Yeah.
It'll obviously, I'm assuming the rearranged fixture won't be till probably about March. So maybe earlier than that. But
January, Ben.
All right, okay, I thought right. So if the run's still going, then it'll be interesting to see how they fare up against you guys. I think it will probably fall away from there, but I think we'd be very naive not to to discount them now and go, nah, don't worry, it's still only a 2-horse race. Because if we start dropping points, if either of us start struggling to win games and that, and Cove keep this form going, man, they will shut that gap. They will shut that gap down very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys unbeaten run. We've still got a 20-game unbeaten run going, which is helping, and we're being very resilient about it. The last time at the stadium, the two sides, we kind of talked about it. It was basically a cancelling out of each other, and it was two teams that didn't want to lose the match. How do you think it's going to go on Saturday, Ben?
I think it'll be very different because obviously we don't need to worry about this unbeaten run anymore, so we don't have that on our backs. You guys obviously do, but I think it'll be a much more open game. I like to think it'll be a much more open game because I think we're now at a stage where it's not so much a case of either side caring about keeping this good start of the season going. It's now just about we just need to get wins. We need to get 3 points because we're so close to each other. As soon as one of us slips up, the other team needs to be ready to pounce on that. So I think it'll be a much more open game. I would like to think so. Anyway, because the last one was a bit of a bore fest.
Aye,
I think
I know it was. It was like it was very much like I said, two teams just no wanting to lose and no wanting to win either. It seemed that way. So going into that game then, Ben, where do you think that now that you kind of, I guess. Have you got Rankin's got a settled 11 now, hasn't he? Or is there still quite a bit of chopping and changing with it?
I think he's got a fairly settled 11 for the last few games. Leco Dale will come back into the team, I imagine, because he's now back from suspension.
Yeah, I noticed it. That's why he's right with the brushes a couple of weeks ago to get that suspension served. I noticed
exactly.
that.
Exactly. So he'll come back in. I think we'll see changes in the front three. Especially after failing to score against Alloa. I think he'll change the front three to something different as well. I would like to think Henderson comes in, but I don't know. But just a comment on Rankin, just quickly. It's one of those things where I think, in my opinion, that, and it sounds stupid to say given we're top of the table, right? But I honestly think that with a better manager, we would be better off than what we are. And like I said, I think that sounds stupid being top of the table, but looking at the game yesterday, I think better game management and smarter changes, I think we probably win that game. And that helps us massively, especially you guys with the game in hand. So I think there's still a lot of question marks over John Rankin. A lot of Accies fans still not convinced by him at all.
Wow, that's really interesting to hear.
And like I said, it maybe sounds stupid from an outsider. Obviously, you're looking at the table going, you're top of the table, man, what are you talking about? And I 100% understand that. But like I said, yesterday, in the last, I say the last few games, it's stupid to say, like I said, but yesterday, just better game management. I think smarter subs probably would have won that game. And I think, I don't think it's controversial to say that I would probably say we've got a better squad in general than Falkirk. I think we've got a better team on paper than Falkirk. And I think that it's up for debate, but in my opinion, and so I think that if we had a better manager, then we probably would be better off than what we already are, and we're still doing very well.
So you've only lost. Is it 2 games you've lost now?
It'll be two because Cove away,
Edinburgh. Edinburgh was just a draw. What was it?
Edinburgh was a draw, but was a draw. But the Cove away was a real start. And Cove away is another example. Man, is kind of better game management. It could be a much different result. So it's just a situation now where whenever Accies drop points like yesterday, the attention's on John Rankin, and rightly so. It was yesterday because I think it was his subs that kind of stuck us a wee bit. But it'll be interesting to see the reaction if we don't win against you guys.
So on to that then. Predictions for the game.
I mean, I'm gonna back Accies all day. It's just how I see it'll go. I think you guys will score. I'll say 2-1 Accies.
2-1 Accies. Roscoe, what are you thinking?
I agree with Ben earlier on. I think there'll be a high-scoring game this Saturday. I might have said that before the October game as well, but I actually think there will be. Accies are scoring goals, and I think if Accies were to score first on Saturday, I don't necessarily think it would be one of those games where they would shut up shop. I think we would be quite open. So I'm gonna say Falkirk. Obviously, I'm gonna say 3-2 Bairns.
Yeah, 3-2 there. Yeah, I'll take 3-1 Bairns. There we go. We'll just have that. There we go. Big crowd expected, Ben. Do you think he'll get quite a few numbers in for it? I think we've sold about 600 tickets already for it.
I would like to think so, mate. It's the biggest game of the season for the two of us. It's the title challengers, and it's very early in the season to say this is title decider or any of that nonsense.
Yeah.
But just given the way it is, how you've got a game in hand, it's the most important game that we've played so far. So I would like to think that kind of every Accies fan we get down to the game.
Good stuff. Well, Ben, thanks as ever for joining us. We'll see you for a drink on Saturday, hopefully, and hopefully we're celebrating a Falkirk win. But listen, as ever, thanks for coming on, Ben from the Only Accies podcast.
No problem, guys. Thank you very much.
This is Falkirk Daft
with Haldane Construction Services.
So that is it for this week's Falkirk Daft. Thank you very much for listening. Good to be back, Ross.
Yep, always.
Still feeling a wee bit the effects from last night in hospital, because we did hospital, then we went up to Wheatsheaf, great as ever, I love that pub. They didn't have the fire on though, I was quite disappointed they didn't have the fire on. I had a couple of pints in there, end up in the toll booth. You ever been to the toll booth on Saturday night? What a laugh, by the way, brilliant.
They still got karaoke on.
Karaoke, guess who your man was, guess who went up and had a wee song? I did. I went up and did a bit of erasure, did a bit of All Respect, changed the words to navy blue. It's tremendous. I tell you what, there was a woman in there, and I saw, you know, when you see a song come up and you think, oh, nothing compares to you, Sinead O'Connor comes out. I went, that is a big ask on a karaoke. Like, you don't take that on unless you're a nailed on singer and you think, oh, she must be amazing. Honestly, it was probably the worst rendition of it ever. It was horrendous. So awful, absolutely awful. But what a laugh! Wheatsheaf toll booth, and then into the welly for a wee one for before going down the road. So no, cracking wee night out. First time being in the welly in ages as well. Actually, good night out.
Yeah, me too. I've not been in there in a while. Yeah, probably last year.
Toll booth on Saturday night. We'll highly recommend it. So if you've got your Christmas party in Falkirk, head up to the toll booth and have a giggle on the karaoke on a Saturday. And there was a guy who was a spitting image of Santa. I don't know if it was Santa just getting prepped for Christmas or whatever, but it was a boy. It was a man in a cowboy hat, and there was Santa. It was a very strange scene. But anyway, toll booth Saturday night. Highly recommend it. Thanks very much, as I say, if you're listening or even watching our faces on YouTube. We appreciate that. Can I just say, if you're running out of time for Christmas presents, if you want any Falkirk Daft merch, you need to get on that now. I got a wee message from the guys that do our merch, and you can get it up to, I believe, the 7th and the 7th to the 10th. We've got 15% off everything. There you go. It's our Christmas promotion. Which you get
the 10th, so that's today.
Oh God! Oh well, you missed out on the promotion then. But I think you can still get stuff in time for Christmas if you get on there now. So get on there, get your Christmas presents, your Falkirk Daft for that Falkirk fan in your life, and get that sorted for Christmas. And you'll find that merch.falkirkdaft.co.uk. All the stuff you need to know about the show is down below. Thanks again to Haldane Construction. Get all the details below. You find also details for the Discord channel, which is a wee fan forum. If you've not used Discord before, it's just basically a fan forum that you can just message and stuff. So a lot of good chat in there as ever. And Falkirk Daft Christmas Party, Ross, almost forgot. I got a message. Now, if you don't know or haven't heard of a band called Parliamo, right? They're a fantastic band, right? Check them out on Spotify, they're great. And Big Andy Haxton, who plays the drums in Parliamo, is a Falkirk supporter, right? The rest of the boys and girls in the band are I think they're from Kinross or something like that. But Andy basically goes along and drums in a Falkirk top, and they're playing the Garage on the 21st of this December. We're heading along for a Falkirk Daft night out. I think that I might be sold out now. I think Andy said it's maybe sold out, but I think there might be a few tickets still available. So if you fancy it, join me and Ross on a wee Falkirk Daft Christmas night out. We'll probably probably end up in going to box and then across to the garage. But Big Andy, who listens to the podcast, got to put a shout out from. He was in flamenco yesterday. Well, it was amazing. He sent me a picture. I was like, "Oh, where are you?" He says, I was at in Rio, mate. I was at the flamenco game in Rio with his Falkirk top on and watching the game on his phone as well.
Do you know, I've just realised who this is because I got a message of Stevie Beveridge, Smudger, saying, "Oh, my mate's over in Brazil." This has to be the same guy.
I've got absolutely, Andy. So there you go. Andy listens to the podcast. Brilliant band, Parliamo. If you've not checked them out, I'd say to Andy as well, it's got a wee bit of prefab Sprout about it, and he says, "Who are they?" I'm like, "All right, that shows my age." But cracking band, Get Down, Falkirk Daft Christmas party. Well, it'll be me and Ross's Christmas party on the 21st. We're going to go and see them. I think there's a few Falkirk supporters, like you say, Smudger. I think Steely's actually a fan of the band as well. So there's a few. I'm sure there'll be a few there, and I'm pretty sure Andy will be wearing a Falkirk top as well for playing the drums, which is spot on. So brilliant. Get them on there and check them out. Right, that's it for Falkirk Daft. Thank you very much for listening. Massive game. We spoke to Ben about it, but how big this game is next week. We go 3 points clear at the top with a game in hand. You imagine we win that game again against Portland and we're suddenly 6 points clear.
It'd be huge, John. It's such a huge feud coming up. I know it's a festive season and all that, but in terms of football, massive games coming up. We've obviously got that local derby against Stirling Albion squeezed in between the two games as well, and a trip down to Annan, which I think Accies beat them, but they not only just beat Annan away, so another potential tough game. But yeah, Saturday's looking massive. I think there'll be a huge Bairns crowd there. Saturday night, a shout out. I did say I would give them a shout out as well. It's the return of Lieutenant Stardust this Saturday night in the Graham Hotel. So the OG Lieutenant Stardust, so they're back on Saturday night. I'd imagine it's probably going to be absolutely heaving.
If Stardust are playing, they'll definitely be. Oh, yeah, is your man back from Australia then?
Portugal, yes.
Portugal.
Yes, Mr. Dust himself is back from Portugal. So actually, he was on the LS bus going up to Montrose because he was back then as well.
Oh, so, brilliant!
Having a bit of a blather to him there. But
if you've not seen Lieutenant Stardust, they are magic. All mad Falkirk supporters as well, and they're absolutely brilliant. They used to be in the choir at the Old Brockville days as well. So smashing. Go and get down to LX and check them out if you're on your works. So there you go. You can go to the toll booth for the karaoke, then go down and see Lieutenant Stardust. At the Graham Hotel. So cracking, brilliant. Listen, have a great week. Fingers crossed we're back on here next week talking about 3 points, keeping that unbeaten run going, and we'll see where we're at. But until that time,
expect the unexpected, as always.